When we think of nature, we often admire the striking patterns, vibrant colors, and unique appearances of animals. But those looks aren't just for show, they're often a matter of life or death. What's truly fascinating is how these appearances, whether it's camouflage, bright warning colors, or deceptive patterns, are carefully adapted to the vision of predators, prey, and even insects. By examining how these appearances are designed to influence perception, we uncover a fascinating interplay between biology, chemistry, physics, and math. Hello everyone, my name is Lily. Get ready to be amazed as we uncover how nature's sophisticated strategies shape the survival of countless species. Camouflage is one of the most common survival strategies in animal kingdom, but it's far more complex than just blending in. Animals must evolve camouflage that targets the visual weaknesses of their predators, creating patterns and colors that fool even the sharpest eyes. Take the snowshoe hare, for example. In winter, these hares are pure white, blending seamlessly into snowy landscape. As the snow melts and the environment changes, the hare's fur also transitions to brown, perfectly matching the dirt and vegetation. This adaptation not only changes color, but also texture, and the fur mimics the lighting conditions of the changing seasons. However, this transformation has a scientific twist. The timing of their coat change is controlled by daylight and hormones, ensuring the change happens at just the right time, when the snow falls and melts. A similar principle of camouflage can be seen in the peppered moth. Before the Industrial Revolution in England, these moths were predominantly light-colored, blending in with lichen-covered trees. However, as coal production increased, soot blackened the trees, making the darker variant of moth more advantageous. This form of industrial melanism allowed the dark-colored moths to blend in better with the sooty environment, reducing their predation rates. When population control measures later cleaned the air, the lighter moths began to reappear, demonstrating a dynamic response to environmental changes. But why go to such lengths? For both the snowshoe hare and peppered moth, their primary predators, owls, lynx, and foxes, are experts at detecting motion, even in low light. In fact, owls have some of the most sensitive low-light vision in the animal kingdom. Their large eyes are specifically adapted to capture as much light as possible, giving them a huge advantage during nighttime hunts. Let's break this down with a bit of math. Predators like owls have what's known a high flicker fusion threshold, the speed at which their brains can process moving objects. While humans typically have a flicker fusion rate of around 60 flashes per second, owls can process at a much higher rate. This allows them to detect even the slightest movement in a near darkness, which means prey like snowshoe hare and peppered moth must rely on absolute stillness and perfect camouflage to avoid detection. A small miscalculation in their movement or color blending can be fatal. When you think of zebra stripes or cheetah spots, what comes to mind? Most people associate it with camouflage, but the science behind it is much more interesting. These aren't just random colors, they're examples of disruptive coloration, a technique animals use to break up their outline, making it harder for predators to distinguish their body from the environment. In case of zebras, their black and white stripes don't exactly blend into the grassy landscape of Africa, right? But here's the catch. Predators like lions are colorblind, in the sense they have dichromatic vision. They see the world primarily in shades of blue and green. This is a significant limitation compared to human trichromatic vision, which allows us to perceive red, blue, and green. As a result, lions focus on movement and shape recognition more than color. And the zebra's striped pattern disrupts this process. When zebras move in herd, their stripes create a mesmerizing, confusing blur. This is known as a motion dazzle. Studies have shown that predators find it harder to single out an individual zebra from a running group, because the stripes distort their perception of speed and direction. In mathematical terms, this phenomenon is closely related to optical illusions, where contrasting patterns cause the brain to misjudge angles and motion. In fact, some scientists have modeled zebra stripes using Fourier analysis, a mathematical method to break down complex patterns into simpler waveforms. This analysis shows how the visual system of predators get dazzled by the alternating stripes, making it harder to track individual zebras. Birds of prey like eagles, hawks, and falcons possess some of the most accurate vision in the animal kingdom. Their eyes are larger in proportion to their skull than any other land animal, and their retinas are packed with photoreceptor cells, giving them visual accuracy that far surpasses ours. But there's another layer to their visual powers. Many of these birds can see ultraviolet light. While we can perceive UV light, birds of prey use it to spot things that are invisible to us. For instance, certain prey species leave urine trails that reflect UV light, allowing these birds to track animals like voles across vast distances. A vole, thinking it's safely hidden in a tall grass, may actually be leaving a neon sign visible only to its hunter. In laboratory studies, scientists have confirmed that many bird species have specialized UV receptors in their retinas, which allows them to see UV patterns on prey, flowers, and even on each other. This is why prey animals that need to avoid birds often evolve coloration that reflects very little UV light, minimizing their appearance to those sharp-eyed predators. The presence of UV vision opens up an entire world of hidden patterns that humans cannot see. This also means that some camouflage strategies that work well against mammalian predators might fail against birds of prey, requiring prey animals to develop specialized color adaptations for different threats. Butterflies and moths are masters of deceptive coloration, but rather than hiding, many species rely on bold displays to protect themselves. Butterflies like peacock butterfly use large eyed patterns on their wings to scare off predators. These eyes mimic the gaze of a much larger animal like an owl or other bird of prey. When a predator approaches, the butterfly flashes its wings, and the sudden reveal of these intimidating eyes can startle the attacker, often giving the butterfly enough time to escape. But why do these simple patterns work? The answer lies in the way that predators process visual information. Birds, for example, are highly sensitive to eyes. Many species of birds use eye contact as a form of dominance or threat. So when they see the large false eyes on butterflies' wings, it triggers an instinctual fear response. Even though the predator might not consciously recognize the butterfly as dangerous, the shape of the eye plays on deeply ingrained behavior patterns. One of the most mind-blowing examples of camouflage in the animal kingdom comes from cephalopods like octopuses or octopi, squids, and cuttlefish. These animals are not only masters of disguise, but also incredibly intelligent, capable of changing the color, texture, and even the pattern of their skin within seconds. What's even more fascinating is that many cephalopods are colorblind. They don't see the vibrant world they replicate so perfectly. Instead, they rely on detecting differences in brightness and polarized light. But how do they manage perfect camouflage without seeing the colors they're mimicking? Cephalopods possess specialized cells in their skin called chromatophores, which contain pigments that can expand and contract to change their color of the skin. They also have iridophores and leucophores, which reflect light and create iridescent or white effect. This means cephalopods can not only match the color, but also the brightness and reflectivity of the surroundings, allowing them to hide in almost any environment. Cephalopods' ability to manipulate light is a form of structural coloration, where arrangements of microscopic structures in their skin manipulates how light is scattered. This differs from pigmentation, where color comes from chemical compounds. In structural coloration, the physical structure of the skin determines what colors are seen, often leading to vibrant, shimmering effects. In the pitch-black depths of the ocean, light is a rare commodity. Yet, some animals have evolved to produce their own light through a process called bioluminescence. This chemical reaction allows animals like an anglerfish and the deep-sea dragonfish to create light, which they use for a variety of purposes, attacking prey, communicating with mates, and even camouflaging themselves. One of the most interesting uses of bioluminescence is counter-illumination camouflage, a strategy used by many deep-sea creatures like the cookie-cutter shark and various types of squid. In the deep ocean, where sunlight barely penetrates, predators often hunt by looking upward, seeking out prey outlined against the faint light filtering down from above. To counter this, animals like the cookie-cutter shark produces light from their bellies that matches the dim sunlight above them. This makes them practically invisible when viewed from below. A perfect example of how an animal's appearance is tailored to the visual capabilities of its predators. The science of bioluminescence can be understood through chemiluminescence, a chemical reaction that produces light. The reaction involves the enzyme luciferase, which acts on a molecule called luciferin in the presence of oxygen. This reaction releases photons, creating visible light. What's remarkable is that these reactions are highly energy efficient, with nearly all of the energy being converted into light rather than heat, unlike most human-made light sources. Deep-sea predators also evolved to capitalize on bioluminescence. The dragonfish, for instance, have specialized organs called photophores that emit red bioluminescent light. Interestingly, most deep-sea creatures can only see blue light, the color that penetrates the deepest in water, which means the dragonfish can use its red light to illuminate prey without them even knowing they're being targeted. This gives the dragonfish a unique invisible flashlight, allowing it to hunt undetected. While camouflage helps animals blend in, mimicry is all about standing out, but in a way that deters predators. Artesian mimicry is when a harmless species evolves to look like a dangerous or unpalatable one, taking advantage of predators' learned behaviors. One of the best examples of this is the viceroy butterfly, which closely resembles the monarch butterfly. Monarchs are toxic due to the milkweed they consume as caterpillars, and birds that have experienced the unpleasant effects of eating one tend to avoid anything that looks like a monarch. And here is where the evolutionary arms race kicks in. Over time, predators learn to associate specific color patterns with danger. Mimics take advantage of this by evolving to look like those dangerous species, even if they themselves don't possess the same toxins or defenses. This is a brilliant survival strategy that involves complex intricacies between predator cognition, prey appearance, and the environment. Mimicry and camouflage can be analyzed using mathematical models like game theory. In nature, there is a cost-benefit analysis that predators must perform. Is it worth attacking a creature that might be toxic or harmful when mimics are rare? This strategy works well because predators will be less willing to take the risk. However, as the population of mimics grow, predators may start testing their prey more frequently, leading to an evolutionary shift. This delicate balance between mimicry and predator behavior can be described through the hawk-dove game, a concept in game theory that helps explain conflict and cooperation in biology. Insects experience the world in a way that's vastly different from humans or vertebrate predators. Many insects have compound eyes made up of thousands of lenses called ommatidia. These eyes are excellent at detecting movement and provide a wide field of vision, but they often sacrifice resolution and detail. More importantly, many insects can see ultraviolet light, opening up a whole new visual spectrum that humans are blind to. Bees, for instance, use their ability to see UV light to detect patterns on flowers that guide them to nectar. What looks like a simple yellow petal to us might have a UV pattern that directs the bee straight to the flower's pollen. Some flowers even evolved to attract pollinators with these UV patterns, creating a mutual relationship where both the plant and the insect benefit. In contrast, prey insects like butterflies and moths also rely on their vision to evade predators. Moths are particularly fascinating because many of them have developed scales that absorb ultrasound, making it harder for predators like bats to locate them through echolocation. The interaction between predator and prey senses here isn't just about vision. It expands into other sensory realms like sound and touch. The optics of compound eye is a fascinating field. Each ommatidium in an insect's eye captures a small part of overall image. The brain then stitches these fragments together into a picture. The angular resolution of a compound eye, or its ability to distinguish fine lines, depends on the number of ommatidia and their arrangement. For example, dragonflies, which are some of the most skilled hunters in the insect world, have more ommatidia in their eyes than most of the insects, giving them incredibly sharp vision and the ability to track fast-moving prey in mid-air. Another mind-blowing adaptation is the use of deceptive patterns. where prey animals evolve patterns on their bodies to confuse or mislead predators. A great example of this is the eye spots found on some butterflies, moths, and even certain fish. These large eye-like markings trick predators into attacking a less vital part of the body or may even scare off a predator altogether. I mean, look at this four-eyed butterfly fish. This species has a large eye-like spot near its tail. When threatened by a predator, the butterfly fish will quickly dart away, leading the predator to aim for the false eye, allowing the fish to escape in the opposite direction. This is an incredible demonstration of how evolution can trick not just the eyes, but the behavior of predators as well. The appearances of animals and the way they are perceived by their predators, prey, and even mates is one of the most incredible and fascinating aspects of evolution. Vision drives a perpetual evolutionary arm race, where animals must constantly adapt not just to their environment, but to the eyes that are watching them. Whether through mimicry, camouflage, or bold displays, the ways animals have evolved to manipulate vision are as diverse as they are mind-blowing. Understanding how animals use their appearance, it's like decoding the nature's visual language. It's a language filled with complexity, deception, and survival, and it is still evolving today. Whether it's the brilliant colors of butterflies' wings, the ear glow of bioluminescent deep-sea fish, or the hidden ultraviolet signals between flowers and bees, the world of animal vision and appearances is a place where science, mathematics, and evolution intricate in the most spectacular ways. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.